Cool. Well, yeah, we're here today with Kyle Hall from Detroit, record label owner of Wild Oats from Detroit as well. How's it going? How's your time in Lansing so far?
Oh, good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. How old were you when you started the label?
I was like 16.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like my 11th grade year in
Nice.
school. And at that point, like towards the end of the year, that's when I started to get it together, and then I was able to put out my first release like in the fall of,
Okay.
of the following school year.
Do you find yourself really even seeking out many other labels to release on, or are you pretty much
No.
just, now you're just
No,
like, I'm just going to do it myself?
No, I never really. Once I did the label, and actually once I did the first record, I wasn't really. I guess that was never the intention. I mean, when I was really first started, when I was just making a bunch of tracks, like, before any releases or anything, like of course, like I was looking for a place to put it, But
Right.
I think I didn't really have a solid concept of actually giving stuff to labels. I don't think I even understood that how a lot of people do now.
Actually, gear, if you don't mind talking about that. I was curious, you started at your high school, we were talking about briefly before, when you had a lot of time to experiment on your own with that curriculum. What kind of setup did you have, in school, and also, back at your house when you were starting off? What kind of equipment were you using? Digital software, mostly analog?
Like in school, like they had like Pro Tools setups and like GarageBand, stuff that comes stock on the computer. They had like keyboards and things like that they had like studio suites and things like that. But I mean, honestly, I didn't use a lot of things like Pro Tools and things like that, But I mean, I made most of my music at home. I might finish some things up at school too, because I take my laptop to school and work on some things. I was using like Windows computer software, and I had like a few pieces of gear, like I remember high school, I got an MPC. A lot of it was like kind of makeshifty kind of stuff too that I would sample and play in my songs, a lot of Casio keyboards and cassette decks, and just like whatever I can kind of get my hands on. That might a lot of times just happen to be kind of more lo-fi. So, I mean, I was always more interested in using pieces of equipment than just using a computer, but originally when I first started, most of it had to do mostly centered around the computer, but kind of more collage-y, I guess, music, in general. Just kind of taking sound sources and recording them. And
What kind of hardware do you use now, or some pieces that you feel like you really want, that you feel like you couldn't kind of go without?
I still use the MPC, the 1000, for like a lot of my stuff. I use like digital recorders, different ones. Recently, like last year, I've been using Ableton to like kind of sequence things. Because before that, I used to use Acid, so it's kind of like an easy kind of transit. Not really that easy, to be honest. I don't really like Macs. Like their interface is really annoying. It's very uncomfortable for someone who's very technically minded with PCs, especially like grew up with that. So it was a lot of fight using like in the I guess I want to say the years of like music technology like growing a lot with the advent of machine and things like that. I felt like software was significantly harder to use because of the platform it was on too, like the restrictions of a Mac, like how they kind of want you to use what's within their kind of specifications of equipment and things like that. And I was always kind of more outside of the box. Like I'm trying to get away more and more from the computer because it just ruins it. Only thing a good computer for is doing very specific things, but once you start finding that you can do things by hand a lot easier and quicker than, the more skilled you become as a musician, the less you start to see you need a computer. You just get masked by all this like plugins and new software updates, and it just can kind of get tiring.
Cool. All right, well, thanks for your time, man.
Thank you. Cool.